Hey guys, what's up? This is Juan Chavez with Ostrich, and today we have our first In the Ring fight. What In the Ring is in Ostrich is we compare two of the top phones out right now, or two phones that you guys, the viewers, send me, and I will get hold of those phones and do a In the Ring battle. So today, as the first In the Ring battle, a friend recommended that I should do a sorry about bumping the tripod. HTC EVO 3D versus the HTC Thunderbolt 4G. Now both these phones are very high-end and expensive as well. $199 on contract with a 2-year contract, $250 on a 2-year contract. You'll find out later why it's a little more than the EVO 3D. So what we're going to be doing in this In the Ring battle, we're going to be comparing build quality, software, price for value, and overall performance of the phones, and features. Definitely features. Features is one of the bigger ones. That's why it's the thumb. We're going to be doing one phone at a time, and then at the end we're going to sum it up real quickly, do a quick summary, and then explain which phone we Ostrich Hole workers decided to go with. So first of all, we're going to start out with the very anticipated HTC Thunderbolt 4G. The HTC Thunderbolt 4G runs on Verizon's LTE 4G network. This is a very fast, very reliable network. They did have their outages, but that was in, I should say, beta when 4G was first launched with Verizon. But right now their LTE service is fantastic. As you can see, I have LTE right there. So this phone, first of all, has the first thing you will notice when you grab this phone, has a 4.3 inch 480 by 800 resolution TFT capacitive touchscreen. So it is a very crisp, very clean-cut touchscreen. No discoloration. It's not washed out like the old TFT screens. This is the newer. I believe Sony makes this screen. Sony or Samsung. Samsung does make really nice screens though. It has a 8 megapixel camera on the back with dual LED flash. Now this camera can shoot HD 720p video, so that's pretty common on any high-end smartphone, but to be honest, the Sensation 4G and the G2X shoot 1080p, so that's a little disappointed that this phone didn't shoot 1080p, but 720p is still really nice and smooth video recording. It has a 1.3 megapixel forward-facing camera. Now this phone, out of the box, it has a 32 gigabyte micro SD card included in the phone in the back under the battery door. That is unforeseen. No smartphone on the market has ever included a 32 gig micro SD card out of the box. So that's part of why it's $250 on a contract. This phone also has 8 gigabytes of onboard memory. You may be thinking, whoa, 40 gigs. How much is the phone again, Juan? It is $250 on contract. If you figure, a 32 gigabyte iPhone 4 is going to cost you $300. Now this phone, it definitely has, it's a high-end phone. You're paying $250 and you're getting 40 gigabytes out of the box. So that price for value, very well. Let's keep going down the specs list that I wrote out before I did this video. You have a 1 gigahertz Qualcomm-built Snapdragon single-core processor. Now this is a very fast, reliable processor. It is a 1 gigahertz processor. That's still really high-end in the smartphone world. Considering dual-core came out, it's still the processor has. I haven't seen any lag on this phone. That's my password if you guys want to steal my phone. So this phone, it doesn't lag as much as you would think because it runs HTC Sense. I will get to that in a little bit. So 1 gigahertz processor, check. It has 756 megabytes of RAM. That's a little disappointing. Phones are starting to come out with a gig and almost a gig and a half, but it does a job pretty well. If you don't keep a lot of apps running, then it should do the job for you pretty well. Now this phone has, as I said, it runs HTC Sense 2.1 on top of Android Froyo 2.2. Froyo is the last generation software, considering we're on gingerbread and close to come ice cream sandwich software. But Froyo isn't bad, and Sense usually makes life a lot easier for newbie Android users. And the widgets are nice. It's a smooth running system. It has 7 screens compared to like the Nexus 1 or Nexus S's 5 home screens. So it is a smooth running phone considering it has 756 of RAM and it runs Scent on top of Froyo. And another thing you're going to notice is this phone has an enormous kickstand. This kickstand is by far the biggest kickstand I've ever seen on a phone. Last year the EVO was amazing. But this year the Thunderbolt just kicks it up a notch. Get it? Kickstand. Kick. Brings it up a notch with a bigger kickstand. It is anodized brushed metal. And under there you have a Dolby Mobile speaker. So this is a very loud speaker. It's louder than the iPhone and louder than the EVO 3D. No competition there. That's a very loud speaker. And last but not least is, you're probably asking yourselves, Juan, how is this phone going to do on battery life? Honestly, smudgy screen. Horrible. It has a 1400 milliamp hour battery. Now if you sum that up, that little battery has to power a gigahertz Snapdragon processor, a giant camera, and a 4.3-inch screen. Plus, it runs on 4G LTE network. So your battery life is going to be horrendous on this phone. I'm sorry to say it, guys, but you're not... We have never gotten a day out of this phone. I don't know. You don't get a day out of this phone. So 1400 milliamp hour battery. That's a big negative on a phone, considering the EVO came out a year ago and it had a 1500 milliamp hour battery. So let's not make this video too long. Let's bring in the EVO 3D. Now the EVO 3D gets its name because it's a 3D phone. We'll get to that in a bit. So this runs on Sprint's WiMAX 4G network. WiMAX is a Wi-Fi based 4G network, so it's gonna be fast. It's definitely comparable to LTE. It's not like HSPA Plus or anything. Honestly, I don't like it. HSPA Plus. WiMAX and LTE are honestly the best networks out right now, to my Ostrich opinion. So this phone has a 4.3-inch 960 by 540 resolution capacitive stereoscopic touchscreen. A stereoscopic touchscreen means it can show colors to make it look like your eye, the human retina, is seeing 3D. I will show that to you guys in a little bit when I get down to the 3D area of the phone. But it has a stereoscopic display. It is a little longer than the Thunderbolts, as you can see there. If I can get the Thunderbolt turned around. So it is a tad bit longer, but it's just because it has the 960 by 540 resolution. So this is a QHD display, I forgot to say as well. So higher resolution than that. Same resolution as the Motorola Atrix. So this, on the back, you may notice, what is that? That is, my friends, two dual 5 megapixel cameras with a dual LED flash. The two cameras, every image you capture, you'll have a different angle, making your eye look like, making it 3D. So one 3D image is going to be pretty much shot in 10 megapixels, theoretically. Or one image in 2D will be 5 megapixels, which is that camera. Two cameras are used for 3D. This phone also records in 720p HD 3D capture or 2D capture. So 720p HD is either in 3D or 2D. This phone has a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, as does the Thunderbolt. It has an 8 GB micro SD card included in the box, 1 GB of onboard memory, and it has a 1.2 GHz dual-core Qualcomm-built processor. This is a dual-core processor, knowing the phone market is coming out with dual-core phones. So HTC decided to step it up a notch and include dual-core in their HTC EVO 3D. This has 1 GB of RAM, opposed to the 756 of the Thunderbolt. And this runs HTC Sense 3.0 on top of Android 2.3 Gingerbread. So you do get the new screen, you get the 3D transitions, the carousel right there, as you see, and it does run a little smoother, and battery life is a lot better on this. You get a physical camera shutter button. It is a very big button, as you can see there. You will have no trouble finding that button. It's huge. And you have a 2D to 3D camera toggle. This is a dual detent button, as you can hear there. And this also has a 1730 milliamp hour battery. That is a great amount. That is a very big battery. It's bigger than the original EVOs and it's bigger than the Thunderbolts. I get a day out of this phone, to be honest. It's still like at 60% right now, and it's like at 15 hours of use. Let's check that real quickly. So yeah, 14 hours and 33 minutes, and that's like at 50%. compared to the Thunderbolts, it's almost gonna die. So good battery life. Now let's bring in both these phones since I'm running out of time. Price per value, honestly, I would say the Thunderbolt has a better price per value because you get 40 gigs out of the box. Now, overall, you want to keep up with the technology, and what we Ostrich Hole workers recommend you get is the EVO 3D. Because, first of all, it has a 3D module, camera module, which is amazing. Physical camera button, and it has a beautiful screen. Very, very vivid, very colorful, not washed out screen. So here in Ostrich Hole, in the first in-the-ring battle, I give the HTC EVO 3D the lead over the HTC Thunderbolt. If you guys want more information on this, just leave it in the comment section below what you guys are looking for. And yeah, guys, this is Juan Chavez with Ostrich Hole, and stay breezy.